Hello everyone. Sejr here. Thank you so much for joining me for my Spellbinders October 2022 card kit. I am normally late with my card kits, but this one is a little bit different. The kit got lost, and so Spellbinders was kind enough to send me a new one, which I was actually shocked because it had long sold out. So it is late, but I had so much fun with this kit that I'm excited to share with you what I have created. With that being said, let's move on with card number one. As you can see, I've already placed down my pink background, which says love, cheer, joy, and it just repeats across the whole background. It's a beautiful color and sentiment type background that I love for Christmas. I'm going to put down a piece on the bottom that has these kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen those pom-poms, felt pom-poms that are attached to strings. It kind of looks like that, or it could be colorful lights, but I'm going to put that on the ground, kind of giving it like a snow covered in lights or decorations. And then I wanted to add a little strip of that gold plaid pattern paper just to give some separation between the ground and the sky. The tree was created with the die set that comes in the kit, and I decided to match it with the pink in the background. And so I used the dark pink for the tree, the light pink for the trim, and then some gold embellishments. And these are all pieces that come in the kit. For the main focal point, I really enjoy this gingerbread house that came in the die pack, and I did prop it up with the foam tape. But as I was putting my gingerbread man down, that little cute guy right there, I realized the dimension was off because he's in the front, yet he's behind the house. So I decided to just take off 2 layers of the foam tape on the bottom and just glue that down. This way I kind of have this propping in the background, so it still makes it look like it's in front of the tree and the background and the sky, but not in front of the gingerbread fella there. If that makes sense. So anyways, I'm just going to put the block down to make sure it sticks and let the glue dry. To finish it off, I took some hole punch holes in the white cardstock and I threw it on the background, and now I have a beautiful snowy sky in 2 different shapes of snowflakes. Of course, the snowflakes are a tad big, so let's just pretend that they are quite fluffy and not big hailstones. It is a happy scene. The gingerbread is very happy, so let's pretend very soft snowflakes. I myself would be extremely happy if I was standing in front of a gingerbread house during a snowstorm. That would be a dream come true, as long as I was safe. Always have to add that. You want to make sure you're safe. Okay, card number 2. This one's cute. I'm going to focus on that beautiful snow background. I really do love snow. Snow is one of my favorite things about winter, and so moving into an area where it doesn't get much snow is kind of saddening, but I make the most of it when it does snow. And so with that being said, I'm absolutely drawn to this blue background snow, or the snow background. How am I going to say that? The snow background. Let's just put it that way. And you can't go wrong with a good snowbank in a Christmas card. So I did cut that out twice, hand cut myself, and the blue and the white, both card stocks that come in the kit. And I glued them together just to create a layering effect, and then I added a banner or border to the bottom. I did measure this off camera so that the snowbanks and that banner is the same width. Once again, I've created another Christmas tree using the die in the card kit, and this time I did a classic green tree, gold trim, and some red baubles, I guess you can say, or red lights, however you want to look at it. I think those look more like baubles in the tree. I am going to add a little piece of scrap on the top there just so that it's all flush and there's no sagging, because it is actually 2 layers that the tree is going to be hanging off of. That cat is beyond adorable. When I saw that in the kit, I definitely had to use it somehow, and this is, I think, a perfect way to do it. It's adding another decoration to the tree. The Christmas hat, the little bow on the collar. Come on, it's just so cute. I am going to add the sentiment on the top there. Merry moments make merry memories. I mean, if I had a cat that was wearing a Santa hat, putting decorations on a Christmas tree, that's definitely a merry moment. That would be a very merry memory that I would never forget. And then I just add some cute little snowflakes, 3 of them, creating the diamond shape around the sentiment. Card number 3. What do we got here? Oh, yes, I like this background. This is it's Christmas trees, and they come in, looks like 4 colors. There's green, 2 pinks, a blue, and a purple. I really like that. It's a really nice one, and there's quite a few embellishments in the card kit that match this very well, which is, of course, one of the benefits of getting a card kit. A lot of things do match, and of course, this is of no exception. To make it a little bit different than my typical cards, I just decided to take a piece of scrap of this green snowflake type pattern paper, and I glued it to a piece of pink cardstock with a slight little border there. I used a pencil to trim it, the same thing as I'm doing right here, just so I know exactly where I want to put it. I'm not too worried if it's exact or not. In fact, I did cut it wrong. That's why it's smaller than I initially had drawn it, if you actually really paid attention. This is another snowbank, of course. One thing you could do is add glitter. You can add some ink to it just to separate it some more, but I decided to go really plain this time around. One thing I do love about Christmas and winter is peppermints. Peppermint is my absolute favorite smell and taste at winter, Christmas time. It's one of my favorites, I should say. I love it all, but that's one of my favorites. And so adding these little peppermint wheels throughout the designs really adds a nice little fun, whimsical design there. And I do it wherever I can. In this case, I took the big wheel, peppermint wheel, and put it behind the sled. And then I took this little bird that was holding a twig or sprig of berries and put it on top of those presents that Santa is ready to haul to the rest of the world. he's just standing there to take a picture first. This is his 2022 picture that the elves are taking, and he's just, instead of saying cheese, he's saying ho ho ho, which I'm using the foam stickers that come in the kit. And then when that is all done, this is going to take a little bit just because those little pieces got stuck in there. So I had to take some scissors and get them out. And I did choose, actually, sorry, I didn't choose it. It was just convenient that they were matching the pattern paper so well, the 3 hose. Sorry, that hit me a little wrong. I'm sorry. Anyways, once that is done, I'm going to take some of those little gold embellishments I use with my hole punch. I usually do this with a scrap of gold cardstock so I don't throw it away, and I keep it on stash. And I will just add that following the sentiment across the card. Of course, this is something I love to do. I love, especially for Spellbinder cards, just adding these little embellishments. This helps a lot in case you don't actually have any embellishments on hand. You can just use your hole punch. Of course, adding glossy accents really makes it pop. I just don't do it for no reason in particular other than just not thinking about it at the time. But definitely give it a try, especially on this gold cardstock. It will look like a little shiny jewel when you do it. What are we on? Card number 4? Card number 4, this was fun. I created a nice little scene. I took a lot of the ephemera that was in the kit and I just started creating almost a wreath around this blue circle. The blue is the darker shade of blue that comes in the card kit, and what I'm doing is I'm following around the circle. So I'm taking some of these poinsettias, I believe they are, and just hugging the outside bottom, and then I'll do the similar to the top there, top right hand corner. And I'm just using sprigs of green to kind of separate the different flowers so that they're not merging together. The one piece on the bottom there, it already contains all these sprigs and white spaces, so I don't need to add any more between that layer. But I did add a sprig to the right side of it just to help it move along the circle. I will be adding some berries afterwards. You can see them there on the table just to add a little bit more to the card, or to the design, I should say. I'm just gluing those down. I was pretty happy with the position. And of course, I try not to glue flat, let's say. I try not to glue it right down, because a lot of times I forget that I want to tuck things in. So usually you'll see me when I'm doing things like this, I'll just set it down lightly, and this allows me to tuck. You could also, if you were thinking ahead of time, just not glue all the way to the top of some of these pieces. Not only will that allow you to tuck, but it can also make it so that when they start to lift, because they're not glued down, it creates this natural dimension, which is actually kind of neat as well. To finish it off, I'm going to add my heart to to my left-hand corner, just to the top where that opening is, and then my sentiment, joyful. I just really like how that is a soft little pink border, very clean little sentiment. It's not taking away from the design, but it's adding the sentiment. I am then going to prop this whole frame up with some foam tape, and this is just my U-line tape. It's pretty thin. And then, of course, if I try to use the Spellbinders, I would use it all up. So I use my own stash in this case. And then, just to tie in some more gold, because there isn't much other than the heart, I'm going to take my hole punch holes again and just put them around the snowman. Just kind of filling it in, almost like a snow globe. Just trying to figure out where I want to position those. And then I'll glue them down with my Simon Says Crafty Tacky Glue, which is my favorite for little embellishments like this because it's a little bit thicker, and they just sit nicely there. I will trim off that one little piece I notice, and then that will be that for that card. For card number 5, I had a little fun. I decided to cut up this pattern paper. This is the same one that I used for card number 3. And it inspired me to create a Christmas tree, or a tree, I could say. And I'm going to use that foam tape that I had originally used for card number 1 and then took off, so I'm not wasting it. And I'm just going to put those at the very bottom of each layer, except the last one, or the first one, however you want to look at it. And what that's going to do is create my shadow. So I don't need to add any ink to make it look like there's layers. This is going to do it naturally just because I have lifted up the bottom there. And I'm going to go a little wonky because I don't think any tree is naturally straight. And if it is, congratulations on finding it. I hope you take a picture. But I do like my trees a little wonky. It has this, I don't know how to describe my feeling when I see a wonky tree. So this is how I'm going to do it. Initially, I wasn't going to lift up the different sections like that. So I had a different design for how I wanted my sentiment, but because I lifted it all, my sentiment didn't fit anymore. So I had to figure out a new way of doing it. So I'm going to cut through the whole thing. You'll see it kind of blend away and come back again with it all done, because it took me a while to kind of realign it, because it's just, I want those ornaments to hang in the tree, but I want my sentiment to be wonky like the tree and be all over the place. So this is what I ended up with. Oh, what fun on each layer. It's not exactly what I wanted because it seems kind of straight compared to the tree, but it was the only thing that allowed me to get my ornaments to fit there as well. With these type of sentiments where they're individually separated, I would recommend using some of that, what is it called? It's like a saran wrap. It's I can't remember the name of it, but it's semi-sticky where you can stick to it. Press and seal. There we go. I would recommend using press and seal. Press it on that and then take it off the acetate. and then put it on your card and remove the press and seal, and you will get the perfect alignment how it was on the acetate. It works really well, but I just way too lazy to go find it. To be honest, that's just the way it was, and so I just put it down individually myself. This card definitely could use some inking in the background. Like you could add some lighter or darker blue, for example, just behind the tree, just to kind of give it some oomph. Maybe a white ink would work as well. I kept it very plain. If I were to do it again, I definitely would add some ink just so that that wonky tree really stands out. So for the next card, I'm creating another snowy scene. I know that the sky isn't technically snowflakes, but I'm going to use it as snowflakes. I would say it looks more like confetti or imitation snow. Maybe that's what it is. But I'm going to bring in some more snowbanks because that is what I do. And I'm just going to add some trees into the background. I really like those trees. They're all decorated nicely. And actually, two of them kind of have that shape that I wonder if that's what the die set was inspired by, because it kind of looks the same, especially the one that's attached to the car. And then I'm just going to create a little town scene in the right hand side there, just kind of tucking those pink and black house behind the snowbank. And then I'm going to put the blue or teal one in front, but also underneath the forefront snowbank. I will add some card strip there just so that it's lifted and it's not going to sag at all. The cardstock, the white cardstock, is pretty thick compared to the paper ephemera. And of course, then it also, once again, creates this dimension because it creates a shadow. It will make it look even more alive, I guess you could say. I'm going to do the same thing for the car because it's going to hang over the bank there. And then I'm going to glue it as if it was driving towards the teal house with the Christmas tree that it's going to be putting. I mean, I've never seen anyone buy a pre-decorated tree like this and cut it on top of their roof, but who am I to judge? If you want to save some time and do that, by all means, you do you, right? I then added the Noel sentiment on there. I realized that there was actually a Noel die in the card kit, so once I realized that, I decided to use that as my sentiment because I was actually not sure what I was going to do for this card. It's not bad to leave a card with no sentiment because you can always add a sentiment inside. And sometimes I forget about that just having a beautiful scene on the card doesn't mean you have to have a sentiment. With that said, that is exactly what I did with this card. I had a lot of fun with this card. This one is another... It focused on the dies, the metal dies in the card kit. So, for example, the Christmas tree. I created a white one this time, and it has all red trim and stars. And I wanted to... Oh boy, that's bright. I didn't realize my light is shining on that gold paper, so sorry about that. But what I want to do is I want to really tie in the background with the tree. And it's just all these different layers, because I also want the tree to match the frame there, that little chipboard frame. So to do all these layers, what I'm doing now is I've used some circle dies to cut out the cardstock in the kit, and I'm going to use the same colors that are in the background, and I'm going to tie them all together as if they were lights glowing. I'm going to do that through the whole card. Of course, in the center, I don't need to add anything. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the embellishments kind of in the front so I know where I can put my other little lights. And then I'm just going to add the coils in the background where you won't see it anyways. So then for the forefront, I don't want to tie in any more colors because I don't want to take away from the background. So what I'm going to do is I created the tree to match the frame, the chipboard frame. The background is a piece of gold, and I embossed it with a polka dot background, or polka dot folder, just so that it wasn't solid gold. And then I'm going to prop that with some foam because it would be kind of lumpy if I didn't. And that's it. A nice little celebratory card with no sentiment. Of course, I can always add one in the center there. For card number 8, I went very simple. This is going to go so fast. I really like this pinstripe or striped background, and I didn't want to take away from it. So I created a Santa from the card kit. This is the metal die that creates a Santa. And then I used the joy stickers and some gold snowflakes from the ephemera pack. Use your press and seal. This would have been much easier if I had just taken the 2 minutes to walk into the kitchen and grab it. But no, I decided to just not, and now I'm trying to position these. It's not perfect like it was on the acetate, but that's okay. I just wanted to kind of be centered with the Santa Claus, which I did prop up with some foam tape. Oops, didn't mean to glue that. Don't do that. It will kind of warp the gold, but it's okay. I was able to rub it off fast enough and not make it too noticeable. And then I just glued those 3 gold snowflakes around Santa. So nice and simple. You can make lots of nice and simple cards like that, and they look just as awesome as a scene card. For card number 9, I'm focusing on my gingerbread man again. I did not want to waste any of that snowflake pattern paper, so I'm going to use that almost like a tablecloth in a kitchen. And you can kind of tell the pattern papers that I like, because I really make sure I use them up. And once again, there's the stripes that I used in the previous card. There is a gap in the middle, but because the stripes have a white color pattern, it almost looks like it is part of the design. And then, of course, if you hold it up to your face, you'll see that the card base has that linen texture, so it actually creates this nice little effect. You cannot see that in the camera here. It's too far away, but it is kind of fun. I love gingerbread men. They're really adorable, and these ones seem very happy. A little too happy to be sitting in a cup of cocoa, because I would assume he would get all soggy. But anyways, he's enjoying himself, and the others are admiring the big gumdrops and just having a blast on this tablecloth. And the sentiment I did was them singing fa la 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 la, which actually was quite nice because it matches the straight background. For the last card, I decided just to really focus on, there's a lot of red in the die ephemera pack, so I decided to try to make a cluster of red embellishments. And then for the forefront, I'm going to have the deer, which has a red scarf, but it's brown, so it's really going to stand out. Just to tie in a little bit of separation between that little, it's my grounder. That's what I call it. It's what's going to ground all the ephemera so that it doesn't look like it's floating. I just added a little bit of gold just to create a little texture so it's not just straight line across. And now I'm just grabbing my little pieces. Of course, there is a peppermint in there. I love that. And you just need to just hide it a bit, and it's good, right? So it's just a lot of fun. I am going to just make them all wonky, just kind of here and there, no real rhythm to it. The Candy King is a little higher than I wanted originally, but that's okay. I put my presents down. This whole card is going to be flat. I'm not going to use any dimension on this one. And when I put that deer down, when I put that deer down, I'm going to make sure that the legs cover some of those spaces so that you don't really see the background. I want it to kind of be like just full of ephemera pieces. I don't want to see that checkered background. So I just positioned the deer just a little bit there. For the sentiment, it's a little bit higher than I wanted. I kind of forgot how I was going to lay this, but it says Merry Christmas, and it's the same color as the outline of the deer. And it's little chipboard stickers, and I really like that little sentiment. The text is just perfect. And that's it. That is it for card number 10. I'm now going to show you each card at real time. My camera is up close this time. I accidentally dropped it on the road and it broke my camera. So I can't zoom out anymore. So I had to figure that out. Otherwise I won't be able to really record anything anymore. So I don't know, if it's not going to take, Okay, that's not your problem. That's my problem. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this this close up of all the cards. I do hope that it has inspired you to create some Christmas cards. It doesn't need to be the Spellbinders. It could be anything. Just have a lot of fun. Maybe grab the kids if you have any, or grab your spouse, friends, family, whomever. Make some cocoa. Put the Christmas tunes on, and just have fun. It doesn't need to be Christmas cards. It could be anything. And just remember, it is a season to really remember those people around you and to take the time and be with them. So I suggest maybe a crafty thing just so that everyone can get there and laugh and just have fun. So I really hope that you are able to have that opportunity. So until the next time, I do hope you have a wonderful, beautiful week, and I'll talk to you later.